Welcome back to the Chai Academy. Welcome back to another discussion that is not only just interesting, hopefully, but is also extremely practical. So, we have been discussing Genesis and we're holding chapter 3. We've discussed at, at length, we've discussed the what is the original sin, what did it consist of, and and we discussed it different ways. There's a literal way that they ate and they committed a sin and it was bad and terrible. They also there's other ways to look at it, and you can excuse me. I didn't know how to pause the video, otherwise I would. So we discussed other ways of looking at it, which is a fascinating exercise, as well as once again practical. So today's class, we're going to be talking about the consequences, the ramifications of the original sin. So and once again, the ramifications and consequences would be based on what interpretation, hi Eileen, what interpretation we would have of what the original sin was. But if we just go literal, there's a tremendously powerful lesson to be learned. Hey Susan, from going literal, and the consequences of going literal. So just a quick recap. What happened? So we have God telling Adam not to eat from the forbidden tree, right? The whole world is at your feet, except this tree. I don't want you to eat it. Once he ate it, God said, now I got to be concerned that he's going to eat from the tree of life. Now he had internalized knowledge and wisdom, etc. So now we have to be concerned that he's going to eat from the tree of life and live forever. So God told him not to. He told Eve not to. Eve, the snake, advised, coerced, pushed, suggested. It's very difficult to know. Like what exactly happened. The bottom line is, Eve ate it and gave it to Adam to eat. As soon as they gave it to eat, they were filled with this spirit of knowledge. They understood that they were naked, and they began to hide from God. Which, of course, hiding from God is foolish, right? If you can have a Thanksgiving party, you got to hide from Como, but you can never hide from God. So God found them, and God said, "What'd you do?" So he said, "Well, Adam said," and we discussed this. Adam said, "Well, Eve made me do it." Eve said, "The snake made me do it." So God said, "Okay, bottom line is, because you ate from this fruit, this is what's going to happen. Adam and Eve, get out. Get out of my garden. Get out of my house. You are now exiled, and no longer will wheat just grow, but rather wheat is going to grow together with thorns and thistles." And you can listen to other classes as to the reasons. This is consequence driven here. No longer will you be able to eat wheat. Just simple. It's going to be extremely difficult, right? And it's going to be difficult by the sweat of your brow, where you have to work in order to survive. Eve, child rearing is going to be painful. Snake, right? No longer will you have feet. You're going to have to slither on the ground. So the punishment, one could argue, how's the punishment fit the crime? God told them they were going to be, the day they eat, they were going to die. What is this? Instead of dying, I mean, yes, they lost their mortality, but why this? Why get out? So the answer is given in the Kabbalah, and it's called Namo de Chasufa, bread of shame. And we'll explain what bread of shame is. It's a Kabbalistic concept, but it's such a practical issue. Now it's interesting to note this past week, every Shabbat we read the Torah, and every Shabbat we read a Haftorah, something from the prophets, which is similar. So the Haftorah that we read this week, we read about the rebellion against King David. So King David wanted Solomon to be the king after him, to be his successor, and instead of but it came with trouble, and King Solomon's son Adoniah, he said, no, I'm going to be king. The Haftorah pauses for a moment and says the following: David did not bring up Adoniah correctly. He never disciplined him. He never really taught him right from wrong, which is like, this is kind of, parenthetically, it just brings it up. But it's so vastly important to the lesson today, and to the lesson is why Adoniah would rebel against his father, right? He says he didn't bring him up properly. So here's the lesson. Here's the lesson of parenting. And here's the lesson as Susan writes, God is, we're children, God's a parent. If you give your child everything, every single thing, try it. Where your child has everything at his or her disposal. Mom, Dad, I want this. I want the latest sneakers. I want the latest, Nikes, and I want this jersey and that jersey, and I want to go to Zara's after I come back from Macy's, and I want a car, and I want a limo, and I want this, that, the other. And you as a parent, work hard, or got lucky and you don't have to work hard. Doesn't matter really. You feed into your children's every whim. Every request your child asks of you, you say, yes, dear, of course, dear, I love you, dear. And they don't hear, no, that's too extravagant, that's too opulent, that's too this, that's too that. It's going to develop into something called bread of shame. What is bread of shame? Bread of shame, explains the Kabbalah, is where your child, Adam and Eve, felt unworthy, completely unworthy. God gave Adam everything. He gave Eve everything, right? As far as the eye can see, the vista, as far as the world is yours, like Scarface, right? The world is yours, right? The world is yours, everything. And Adam and Eve, it was unbelievable. It was paradise. It was. They didn't have to worry about anything, right? The foods were delicious. No GMOs, right? And they had the best life possible. They were in the Garden of Eden. It was physically appealing and beautiful. It was spiritually appealing. They conversed with God. They could make love at any time, and they didn't have to run behind the bushes or anything like that. It was just what a life. And then God told them, one tree. I don't want you to eat from this one tree. The other 6,742 trees in your vista you can eat from. And you can have all the delicacies of life, right? You want to have avocado, that's great. You want to have, mango, that's great. You want to have, right, and delicious, though, from the Garden of Eden, after all. One tree, right? Did Adam and Eve say, okay, sure, God, no problem, no. What they did was they said, who the hell is he to tell me I can't eat from this tree? That was essentially the response, without them saying it, right? No. The world is mine, it's mine. And therefore, they proceeded to say, no, what do you mean I'm not allowed to eat from this fruit? course I'm allowed to eat from this fruit, right? Gave it to me. Don't be an Indian giver, God. He gave it to me. Now, God could say, but come on, there's 6,742 other trees and other fruits and so many different types of fruit, and there's just so many this, that, and the other. And the Midrash tells us that the bark also had a taste to it. It wasn't just the fruit, it was the aromas and the smell of cut grass. I mean, it was just anything and everything. But they didn't. They got upset. Don't tell me what to do. So God said, I'm giving you everything. I'm giving you every single thing. I give you your daily life. I gave birth to you. I changed your diapers. I fed you and nurtured you and breastfed you and everything. And you're yelling at me? Sound familiar? And so God said, you know what? You're just a bunch of narcissists, and out. Get out. Get out. Now, let's take that into parenting. So we as parents, we have an obligation. It's compulsory. It's mandatory. We have to not be like King David. We have to be like what we're supposed to be. Parents, they have to know right and wrong from us. If you give a child everything, they're going to loathe you. They're going to feel unworthy, and they're going to have shame. Right? They're going to have they're going to feel unworthy, and the shame is going to turn into hate. Maybe hate is a strong word, but it's going to turn into a dislike. Right? So if your child, right, says, Mom, Dad, I want a new car. I just got my driver's license. I want a BMW. And by the way, I see this time and time again. I do see this. Mom and Dad, I want a new car, and I want it to be a top-end car. I want it to be BMW. I want it to be this, that, and the other. And if you as parents say, yes, sure, it's a mistake. If you as parents say, look, you want a BMW? You can have a BMW. The BMW is $60,000. I'm willing to get you the BMW if you put in $20,000 from your bar mitzvah money or from your working money. Right? I will partner with you. Because if you don't, and you give them that BMW, right? Or you could say, by the way, no, I'm not getting you a BMW. I'm getting you a Kia, or I'm getting you a Hyundai, or I'm getting you something that's less, that's not top of the line. Because look, you're young. You'll always have time to get a BMW. Right? We'll extrapolate a little further. But if you just get them BMW without them earning it, working for it, just give it to them, rest assured that they won't love you more for it. They're going to feel unworthy. They also, because they didn't work for it, they're going to speed, they're going to wrap around a pole, they didn't work for it. They didn't put a dime into this. Mom, Dad, I want it, sure. I want it, sure. No. You tell them, you know what, I'll split it with you. Now they have skin in the game. Right? A child that gets a bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah for $30,000, $40,000, $60,000, $80,000 is off. Is off. It's wrong. It teaches the child, what are you going to do for an encore? What are you going to do for a wedding? Right? No. Bar mitzvahs, the child is 12 or 13. 13. You spend all that money, even if you can't afford it. Right? Even if you can't afford it. It's so often so bizarre to me. Doesn't mean you shouldn't make a nice party. But, the craziness that I see, I mean, there's COVID now, so I don't really see it. But but it's wrong. I mean, give the money to charity. Teach them. There is a family here actually, that every child, they have 4 kids. Every child has to give charity. So every child, upon their bar mitzvah, a couple weeks later, comes into my office, and their dad or mom waits in the car, and they say, "Here, this is from my bar mitzvah money. I'm giving 10%, 20%, or whatever." Now, what that teaches is a value. It's not just, and their parties are not crazy. Like I think their first party was crazy, and then they wised up. But you can't do that. You shouldn't do that. It's off, and it's off-putting, to be honest. A wedding? Go ahead. A wedding is that's a wedding. That's already a 26, 28, 30-year-old, whatever it is. That's a wedding. In the era of COVID, once again, it's COVID is it's difficult to make a wedding, etc. But we're talking about general times. Now let's look at God's response. It's very telling. Right? Adam, bread of shame. He's not going to tell me not to eat from that fruit. I'm going to eat from that fruit. I'm going to eat what I want. God said, get out. Get out. Get out. If you have a child that's living off you, and that child is old enough to get a job, and they're not in college. In college, that's a free pass. But you have a child that's living off of you, and doesn't contribute anything to the household, right? Adam was just eating fruits of the tree. Yum, great, having sex, whatever. Right? Get out. It's time for you. Right? I don't believe in charging my kids rent, but it's time for you to accept some responsibility, something. So God said, get out. Get out. No longer will you have a free ride, Adam. No longer. Now, instead of the wheat just growing like by miracle because of my blessing, say so, I'll still bless this seed that it will grow wheat. But it's going to be a little harder. You got to work for it. You want that BMW? You got to work for it, kid. Right? You want to go on a vacation with your friends? I want to see 95s and above. And then I'll do it for you. You get 60s or 70s, I'm not doing it. A child has to be a participant, a healthy participant. I'm a very big believer in the children helping out in the house, right? You gotta help out in the house, right? And by the way, you don't have to be anal about it. There's certain flexibility in life. If you're anal about it, then you come across as a general, not as a parent. But you help out, wash the dishes, and they have to make their bed. They can, at a certain point, they can do their own laundry. Definitely can bring it down to the washing machine. They have to. It's not. You're not their servant. You're their parent. You're their parent. So therefore, if your child is 30 years old and living in the basement, it's time. It's time. It's time. So that's what God did. Adam and Eve, you need to be productive members of society. Me giving you everything backfired. And therefore, get out. So now, Adam, the wheat didn't grow so easy. It was thorns, thistles. He had to separate. He had to get scratched. He had to, water, and he had to plow, sow, reap, whatever. He had to plow, sow, water, cultivate, reap, thresh, winnow, whatever. It comes with making bread, making flour. It was hard work. Until then, it was just, you want bread? Sure, here's bread. Work. And he worked. Right? Eve, God told exactly what I'm saying. The Etzev told Ibana, it's going to be hard work, Eve. Right? In order to bring up a mensch of a child, you're going to have to work hard. Right? And don't make the mistake of spoiling them rotten. Spoil them all the time. Grandparents, spoil them rotten. You as a parent? No. It's hard work because you have to have the wisdom of Solomon to know what to do, right? There are sometimes you got no one to hold them, got no one to fold them. There are sometimes if your child just had a traumatic event in school, you don't have to make them wash the dishes. I mean, there's right, and that's hard work. That's what God told Eve. It's hard work. It's the rearing of children is you know, it's we, and you all hear this. I mean, this is elementary stuff. Is that in order to drive a car, you need a license. In order to drive a truck, you need a license. In order to occupy a building, it has to have a C of O to make sure it's safe. In order to this and that and the other, right? Licenses and certificates, etc., etc. You can't be a therapist unless you have this, and you can't be a doctor unless you have that. And then you got to take the boards, and you got to take a retest, and a certain amount of CLEs and MEs, etc. To become a parent, you just get pregnant. And sometimes it's by mistake. Don't practice safe sex, right? There's no licensing. Right? There's nothing. So what is the answer? The answer is that you have to seek counsel. You have to seek counsel. And there's many books on it. There's many, parenting consultants, etc. But it's hard work, and that's what God told Eve. It's not going to be easy. It's not just life on easy street. You got to work hard. Adam, you got to work hard. Eve, you got to work hard. Right? It's going to be a life where you're going to feel fulfilled. Right? There's a story about and they use it as probably a metaphor. I don't know if it's a true story, but there's a fellow his job was to take the hay, and basically put the pitchfork in the hay and put the hay on the other side so it's not so tight, but rather you spread the hay. So he used to do this every day. That's what he did. One day a nobleman was driving by, and he saw that this handsome man with a great physique, and he was making this motion with his body, and he goes, wow, that's amazing. So he called over the guy and says, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm separating the hay, I'm sifting the hay. So he goes, how much do they pay you? He goes, well, I get $15 an hour to do this. So he goes, I'll give you $50 an hour. So he says, $50 an hour? Yeah. So $50 an hour. So the guy comes the next day, new job, and he goes, where's the hay? He goes, forget the hay. I just want to see you do that motion. I mean, I guess the guy was a little quirky and he had a fetish maybe. So the fellow says, oh, that's all? Do I need do I need any tools or anything? He says, no, just make the motion. So he goes like this, and the guy's watching him, and he's smiling to himself, $50 an hour. I'm not even working hard. Anyway, after a few days of this, he says to the guy, can you get me a pitchfork? Can you get me a pitchfork? He says, I'd much rather have something in my hand. So I got him a pitchfork. Still, he didn't have to move the hay. He just went like this. A few days later, he said, I quit. He says, what do you mean? You quit? I'm paying you $50 an hour. He goes, yeah, but when I move hay, I'm doing something. When I am just pantomiming for you, I don't feel like I've accomplished anything. And when you don't have a sense of accomplishment, then I don't feel good. Children have to have a sense of accomplishment. They have to have a sense that they're productive members of society, even as children. So, at every age, a child has to do more and more. You expect more and more out of a child. And it's not just a free ride, because eventually the free ride will get very tiresome, and they'll be filled with animus, and they'll lose respect. A child needs to hear no. A child needs to hear yes, double the no's, but still needs to hear a no. Right? And that's what we see from Adam and Eve. God said, enough. No, Adam. No, Eve. As far as the snake goes, So the snake was because the snake was cunning, and it was able to stand up to Eve's height to talk to eye. God took that away because there's nothing to be gained by being cunning. Cunning is sly and cunning. God said, I don't want that. There's no need for cunning. And the Torah tells us the snake was cunning, and God cut it off, cut its legs off. You're not going to be cunning because I don't want you to be cunning, and therefore you're not going to have this relationship with Eve. If somebody's cunning, if your child is cunning, you have to stop it right away. There's no place to be sly and cunning and underhanded, etc., etc. So, bottom line is you have to inculcate your children with a sense of purpose, with a job. And by the way, when they do their job, praise them, thank them, be gracious, be grateful, right? And they know you're there through thick and thin, but they must hear that they have to help as well, and they have to be a partner in this game. A mother in charge of the household, in a traditional household, I don't know if there is anymore, but a mother is nobody's slave or maidservant or maid. This is all. It's a holistic, homogeneous household where everybody chips in. Long gone are the days. Long gone are the days of where the mother is the schlepper, right? I think it's a beautiful thing. A parent take their child to work. They have child to work day. I know COVID once again, but let them see, that it's not all fun and games. And they say, tell the child, no, I got it. Right. Let them see. I think it's very, very important. Let the children be children as well. I'm personally not in favor of hours-long homework. A child can play, a child can rest, a child can read, a child can. So I believe you have to let the child be a child, but the child has to be productive as well. Any questions? So you can always ask me a question at rabbi@thechaicenter.com. If you like this, by the way, please feel free to share it. Now, because of a development, we are doing a major PR marketing campaign to help benefit the Chai Center's survival in this COVID. So therefore, the next few, maybe week or so, maybe 10 days, any classes will not be held on the Chai Center Facebook Live because it will interfere with the marketing. It will be held on Yaakov Sachs's Facebook Live. So just remember that. I'll send out reminders also on my page and on the Chai Center page. But tomorrow, it will not be on the Chai Center. It will be on my personal live page, only because of this marketing we're trying to do. It's a major campaign. Because of COVID, we got hit so hard. We're trying to right that wrong. Any questions, you can ask here, rabbi@thechaicenter.com. Once again, thechaicenter.com/academy is a list of all the classes. Please feel free to share. And hopefully children, grandchildren, make them count. Make them be productive. God bless.